People ask Reddit, what's the strangest way you've seen someone naked, that also wasn't too traumatizing or serious? I was 10 years old and my mom accidentally took me and my brother to a nudist hot spring. This was in the mid-90s. Anyway, we found out it was a nude place when we walked down a path and there was this naked man in his 50s standing not unlike Michelangelo's David, holding his towel over his shoulder. My mom gasped and sort of stopped us short and my brother, 1 year older than me, so 11, says very loudly, "Check out the balls on that guy." The guy turned toward us, proudly. And my brother followed it up with, "They're bigger than dad's, 80s 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 80s. The 80s were the echoes that filled the forest landscape for all to hear. The man looked very proud. One afternoon around 2001-ish I took a break from work for a walk in the woods at a nearby nature center. About halfway through the walk I encountered a nudist walking the trail in the opposite direction. I honestly don't think he was expecting to run into anyone else in the park at that time of day because at first he tried to hide behind a tree but soon decided it was pointless and resumed his course. At the awkward moment we passed each other I accidentally blurted out the first casual words that popped into my head, "How's it hanging?" I was like 14 hanging out chilling with my friends and my one friend, a girl, just straight up asked me out of nowhere if I had ever seen a girl naked. I'm surprised I didn't lie and say yes to seem cool but I just said no actually, I haven't yet. So she took me into the bathroom and got totally naked and let me stare at her for a few minutes lol. Friend's shower upstairs had an unnoticed leak in it that wasn't visible from the floor below. I was sitting in her living room, waiting on her so we could watch the Sunday game when I heard a scream, looked up, and my life flashed before my eyes as I watched my friend fall through the damn ceiling and land right on top of me, alongside half the ducking shower, and a couple gallons of water. I was far more traumatized at having the ceiling fall on me than her falling on me. Hey, Ron? Hey, Billy. There's a crazy mountain man who lives near my family cabin. His name is Fridge and he makes some great knives, grows a lot of his own food, makes wine and moonshine, and one time showed up nude in our yard to offer me a head of cabbage. Dude, honestly, Fridge sounds awesome. It takes a true man to give away your cabbage. We headed to the beach with our 11-year-old son one day to find out there was a protest, where women were topless to protest the fact men could be shirtless at the beach, while they could not. I pulled my son aside and explained the situation and asked if the situation was too uncomfortable for him. He asked, "They're still wearing bottom parts of the swimsuit, right?" When I said yes, he let out a big breath, "I'll be able to handle it then." Reply? Even at 11 I was staring at boobs on the beach. Didn't know exactly why, just enjoyed seeing them. I was roommates with a guy who was a worship leader at a nearby church. It was his 21st birthday, so of course we and a bunch of friends went out. While playing darts and completely wasted back at our house he started claiming his testicles were the size of eggs. Of course we didn't believe him, so he got one from the kitchen and dropped his pants to prove it. He wasn't wrong. It was a Sunday morning and I had friends visiting from out of state. We went to brunch. I was living in a 4-bedroom apartment with my college buddies. Anyways, we wrap up brunch and decided to make our way back to watch football. We just got NFL Red Zone. I led the way and unlocked my front door, which has a straight line view to our family room and couch. We all walked in fairly quietly I guess and there, in all of its glory, was one of my roommates titty ducking his girlfriend on our couch. His thrusts were facing us at the door. Both of them completely naked. The first words about his mouth were, "Boy, you guys are home early, huh?" We all start dying laughing. Anyways, they run out embarrassed. Red Zone is on TV. They meet us on our deck for beers and more football and my roommate just goes, "Man, that's Scott Hansen, huh? So hot." He is the host of the show. The titty ducking couple is getting married next year. I work in NYC as a tower crane operator. I literally 10 minutes before seeing this thread witnessed a man in nothing but a towel take selfies with his BMW i8 and then change right there on the sidewalk. Making some damn good cheddar running crane, I hope. Only half naked. Used to work at Target and pulled a few shifts in the fitting rooms to fit bras. Once I told a older lady, 60-ish, to just head into the first room and I'll grab a tape. I knock on the door a couple seconds later and she unlocks it and is standing there completely topless. I felt too awkward, social anxiety and also in very early 20s, to tell her to put bra and top back on, so I measured her still lol. Another time at Target, it was 24-hour shop just a couple days before Christmas. We were a large shopping center next door to a few restaurants and pubs. Anyway, a drunk woman stumbles in, wets her pants, strips off her whole bottom half in the middle of Target and pulls on a new pair of jeans off the rack, then vomits everywhere. The security guards escorted her after that whilst we cleaned up the vomit, piss and bagged her wet undies and jeans. That was memorable. In the church where I was music director/organist during college, I took the organ service man to the organ blower room in the basement so he could lubricate the equipment. There, soundly sleeping naked on a cot that hot summer day, was the sexton, totally unaware that we saw him. I just quietly relocked the door and discreetly left so that we wouldn't embarrass him. The organ service man said he'd return another day during cooler weather to lubricate the organ, and that hopefully the sexton wouldn't be in evidence. I was hanging out with a buddy and his wife one night. We were all drinking and I got a little too drunk. Was looking for the bathroom and stumbled into the wrong room. In that room was a naked girl collared, gagged, in a doggy crate. I was pretty drunk, but that was definitely what I saw. I leave and ask my buddy about it. They were pretty into BDSM and that was their live-in BDSM slave. Reply: you just leave your slave locked up with company over? How long do they keep them in a cage? Did they lock them in there knowing you were coming? Were they planning for you to find them? Was that the kink? I have so many questions. Answer: I mean, where else were they going to put her? But yeah, they should have at least locked the door. They said she's pretty used to the cage at this point and is in there for a while normally. That's where she sleeps. They were not planning on me to find her and were embarrassed about it. I was in university and had just come back to my dorm after a night out drinking. I got to my room and I just felt something was off. I think the door was ajar or it wasn't locked or something. I distinctly remember the feeling of excitement at the prospect that a girl I was into had let herself into my dorm and was waiting for me. The feeling intensified as I went into my room and saw there was a shape under the covers of my bed. The lights were off and it was quiet. I reached the bed and pulled the cover back to reveal the girl of my dreams, only to find by the stark naked body of my drunken friend who had bailed on the party and ran home. I would say, old guys at the YMCA, who walk around the change room. Some of them will put their foot onto a bench so they can dry their balls after they shower. And with the older guys, their balls hang low and sometimes they have long gray hair on the nutsack. Got to be honest, the first few times was kind of off-putting. Then it occurred to me that these guys have been walking around this very YMCA since they were 8 or 9 years old. So for that it was completely normal. Thank you for listening to another B-Town Reddit Stories episode. Hit the subscribe button and check out our channel for more stories. Let us know your opinion about this topic in the comments.